looks a little better. All the rust is gone, all the grease is gone. Give that a little scrub, it'll look great. And the drum looks a lot better too. The main reason I do that is just to get all the grease off. It's a lot easier to do it in the tank than to try and scrub it out with a scrubby. Okay, so we're working on Chris's rear hub here, and I had a problem where every time we would tighten the hub down, the wheel would stop turning, so something was not right. And I looked at as much as I could in terms of wear and tear, and was scratching my head and decided, hey, let's go look at the parts book. And we were missing a part. We were actually missing this guy right here, which is a bushing for the oil seal and the cone. So this actually spaces the wheel out a little bit, the hub, which we needed, but I also think it prevents the cone from rubbing on the bearing and causing an issue. So we're going to put this together and see if the rear hub turns now. Look at that. Amazing.
Very cool.
We're going to start doing the cables for Chris's bike, and they don't make a specific set that I know about for the Gs150. You just have to use wide body cables and adjust them. And it's got a really specific carburetor, and this throttle cable is just annoyingly too long and has no end on it, so we have to figure that out and come up with a solution, and I think I have one. This is the throttle here, and I just happen to have a ferrule that actually fits perfectly in that hole, and it doesn't stick out at all. So I think we just got really lucky. So now we just have to figure out how long that cable needs to be and cut it. That's working good.
Really?
All right, let's give this a try. See how we do. All right, we're going to have to file the end of that cable down.
User for you.
And we got that to fit right. So the throttle is getting stuck in the tube. And from everything I can see, it's because it's warped. It's not the throttle itself, it's the carb body. So I made this ream here. I just found a pipe that fits in there nicely, and it's round. And I've got some 200 sandpaper on it. And we're just slowly turning it and sliding it in. And hopefully if there's a warp, yeah, you can see there is too. There's a lot of aluminum on there. Then it's going to help wear it down. And that throttle's going to fit a little better. Because right now it is not doing what it's supposed to. It is not sliding around freely and coming back out. It's very tight and very stuck. And I don't believe it's the throttle. I think it's the tube that's warped. Because we are getting a lot of resistance on the sandpaper from this pipe that fits inside loosely and is round. Alright, now that we've reamed out the inside of the carburetor, this thing moves a lot easier than it did before. What was happening was because it couldn't move correctly, the cable was just getting bunged up in the headset instead, and it was pulling back instead of staying where it should, because there was too much resistance here. So this is moving nice now. It's been re-rounded, and we shouldn't have any more problems, knock on wood. Alright, now I can turn the throttle and this is moving in there the way it should. It's not bunging up the cable. And I've actually had to put something under the cable to prevent it from moving, because there's just something funny about this setup in this particular cable. It just keeps sliding down. So that's holding it in place. And it's working good here. Getting a full return on this. So once again, you can see that these SIP cables, these wide body cables, are just way too long. Yeah, they're in there the way they're supposed to be. And there's too much casing, so we are going to have to trim these too. If you don't have a pair of these Knipex cable cutters, you need to get a pair, and here's why. Not only do they cut your scooter cables perfect without any fraying. I'll try and get a focus on that. All right. No fraying whatsoever. But you can, when you cut the outer of your cable, you can take this part off. You just unscrew it off the old part that you cut. And you can wind it on here, and you'll notice it's crimped. And that's because the Knipex comes with a cable end crimper. Right there. Which means I've just made a really nice factory end on this cable that I cut, which is super fun. Okay, we got the gear selector cables all adjusted, and they seem to work okay. And now we're going to do the rear brake and the clutch. So the rear brake cable was for a PX motor, or an LML motor,
that was in this frame before. You can see they cut the frame to accommodate the LML motor. Now we got this nice original Gs150 in here. So we're going to keep this brake cable because it's actually good. And as you can see, we're going to have to cut it right about here and see if we can crimp a new end on the cable outer. All right, here's the new rear brake cable with a nice crimped end on it. And that should be exactly the right length to fit in there.